Hi there. We're continuing our progress through the Psalms, and today we're in Psalm 6, which is Tehillim Vav in the Hebrew, Vav being the letter for the number 6. This is a psalm crying out to God, a psalm of appeal. It's superscribed again, it has a title to it, Alam Natseach, to the chief chorister, the chief of the music. It's Anaginot again, which means on strings. It's played on strings, but this time it has a little extra, al sheminit. Shemini is a word that comes from shmoneh in Hebrew that means 8. So it could either be the 8th tone, it could be on the key it's giving, or it could mean on an 8-stringed instrument. We're not exactly sure, but certainly it's a musical direction. And it's also described as a Mizmor LeDavid, which means again a melody or a song composition in Davidic form, or by David. The psalm is one of a number which have been called penitential psalms, and the psalms are scattered. 7 penitential psalms are scattered throughout the Scripture. And they comprise of here number 6, 31 and 37, 50, 101, 129 and 142. They all have this theme of crying out to God in the midst of need, of asking God for mercy, of asking God for forgiveness. And here we see the psalmist, the singer, is opening up his heart here and saying, "Oh God, don't discipline me, don't be so harsh on me. Give me strength, Lord, because I'm faint. I'm needing your healing. I'm needing your touch. My very bones are aching." There's an expression here. It's bone shaking. What's happening to me? And then he says, "Lord, if I die, how am I going to praise you? Because when those who are in Sheol, those who are in the place of the dead, the place of the shades, don't praise you." And he's saying, "Lord, if you allow me to die, how will I be able to continue to praise you?" And then he calls on those who are causing him trouble. Again, we're seeing this is David, the king, who has responsibilities and who carries weighty burdens on his shoulders. He's saying, "Let the evildoers go from me, everyone who has sought to trip me up, because the Lord has heard my cry." He makes this bold statement towards the end of the psalm. The Lord has heard my cry. He will receive my request. And actually that will result in my enemies turning around and being ashamed. Again, early on in the psalm, he appeals to the hesed of God. He appeals to the covenant grace of God. He is holding on, not just because he feels God has a whim towards him to be favourable, not because it's not dependent on God's mood. He's actually appealing to God's hesed. He's appealing to God's faithful commitment in verse 4. And he's saying, because of that faithful commitment, I can rely on you, O Lord. Even when we feel in tough places, when we feel we're in the midst of storm, we should call out to God, we should be calling on his name, because he has promised to be faithful to us because of his covenant, because of his own promise. Have a good day.